Hello, my friends. This is Doug Fabian. Welcome to my weekly ETF report. Today is Thursday, August 13th, 2015. Thank you for joining me. As I was walking the dog this morning, I noticed that it's getting lighter later. The days are getting shorter. Even though we're in the middle of summer, it's still hot. The seasons are changing. I talked to a client this week in New Mexico, and he told me down there fall was almost in the air where he lived. So one thing we can count on is this seasonal change in the financial markets. And as I mentioned on last week's broadcast, we're entering this period of time, August, September, October, where the markets are traditionally quite volatile and usually have some sort of air pocket, some sort of downside action. Now, with that backdrop, let me move to the subject of the day, and I want you to take a look at this first chart. This first chart is a chart of three currencies over a 3-year period of time. The red line is the Japanese yen, the blue line is the euro, the black line is the Chinese yuan. Now, you might have seen the headline this week that China is being called a currency manipulator. People are worried that China is devaluing its currency. And in this chart, I am not showing you the last week of price action. I wanted you to see that if you want to look at the world's currency manipulator, it's absolutely Japan. And in second place, it is Europe. Now, looking at this next chart, you can see that the Chinese yuan, it's the exact same chart, but added another week. The Chinese yuan has dropped 5% in just the last week. Now, this is freaking out the world. They're afraid now that the Chinese economy is actually weaker than expected. So global growth is in question if China, which is the growth engine of the world, if its economy is actually faltering. This can't be good. So that's why stock markets have been more volatile this week than they have of late. Now let me give you a picture of the S&P 500. What I've done on this chart is I've shortened up the time frame. I'm just looking at the last 6 months. And you can see the last 6 months, lots of up and downs. We've made no forward progress. And we've been in the tight range. As of today, the S&P 500 is up a little over 1% so far this year. That's not the kind of gains that we've been used to in the last several years. And the market is struggling with this growth picture. Last chart. This is the chart of VT, Victor Tom. This is the Vanguard Total World ETF. This has every stock market in the world included within it. And you can see that this chart is actually showing a loss of momentum. It's just about to break its 200-day average, the red line, and it shows this concern about global growth. I just want to reiterate my cautionary stance on the financial markets right now as it relates to equities. And in successful investing, we've gotten much more defensive in our portfolios in the last month because of this loss of momentum and breakdown in prices. So as you're looking at your own portfolio and what your next move might be, I would want you to be tightening up your sell strategy and being a bit more defensive. I'll be talking more about these subjects on this week's ETF Success radio program. You can tune in at etfu.com and listen to our podcast. This is Doug Fabian. Thanks so much for tuning in.